It's Tuesday, April 22. In the headlines, Amber and OnTime launched Jamaica's first local ride-hailing app. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness warns criminals against exploiting commercial complex. In business news, more males employed than females in Jamaica. Regionally, Caribbean spared China-linked port fee hike. And Trinidad and Tobago voices tributes to the late Pope Francis. In sports, Jamaica clinches 39th consecutive victory at Carifta Games. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness has issued a firm warning to criminals attempting to exploit the development of the Raintree commercial complex in St. Catherine. Speaking at the groundbreaking ceremony for the $3.8 billion project, Dr. Holness emphasized that any criminal involvement from the beginning would signal a failure by the state to properly manage the initiative. He stressed that allowing such interference could open the door to damaging practices like extortion, undermining the success and integrity of the project. The Prime Minister also took the opportunity to commend the security forces for their efforts in reducing murders by 36% so far this year.
For those criminals listening, for those dons listening, for those who feel that they have control over this area, try it and see. Yes, man, try it and see. Play the fool and find out.
He also noted the significance of his administration's investment in the development of the security forces in key areas, such as technology and training.
The over $15 billion of projected private investment on this site, driven by the sale of the development lots, will have a multiplier effect feeding directly into the local economy, creating demand for jobs, services, housing, and transportation. And that is how development works best, when it generates self-reinforcing cycles of opportunity and progress.
Dr. Holness also notes that the groundbreaking represents the first definitive step in activating a space that has been zoned, master planned, and environmentally assessed to support a new generation of enterprise and employment.
A vision of transforming underutilized land in this district into a center of economic activity, employment, innovation, and inclusive growth. A vision for how we move Jamaica from potential to progress.
According to Dr. Holness, the commercial complex, which is being undertaken by the Urban Development Corporation, will support long-term private investments exceeding $15 billion. The project is expected to generate 2,000 jobs during the construction phase and more than 5,000 jobs over the long term. Jamaica has rolled out its first locally developed ride-hailing app, Amber OnTime, a partnership between the Amber Group and OnTime Taxi. The app puts a strong focus on safety, featuring real-time GPS tracking, driver background checks, and emergency support from Hawkeye Security, including a built-in panic button for both passengers and drivers. The users can share trip details with a trusted contact, and first-time riders will get a $250 discount through April. Unlike commission-based apps, Amber OnTime charges drivers a flat weekly fee, a move, the company says, will boost driver earnings and keep more revenue in Jamaica. The app also uses AI and advanced GPS to cut wait times and improve efficiency. Amber Group's CEO, Dushyant Savadia, says the goal is to support local business and strengthen the economy, while OnTime Taxis' Philip Ferron says passengers can expect safer, more reliable rides. In a push to fast-track economic growth and improve everyday services, the government is rolling out sweeping reforms aimed at cutting red tape and boosting efficiency across the public sector. From streamlined vehicle registration and fitness renewals to major investments in agriculture, logistics, and entertainment, it's all part of a bold transformation strategy to power Jamaica's next wave of development.
To boost productivity, we must urgently reform Jamaica's public bureaucracy. While our stringent fiscal policies have successfully reduced debt and restored stability, the same controls that curbed wasteful spending now delay approvals, stall infrastructure projects, and hinder growth. These systems must be redesigned to meet today's development needs. To drive this transformation, I have appointed Minister Marks to lead the Streamlining Processes for Efficiency and Economic Development SPEED initiative. I'm making the first announcement under SPEED. I have directed Minister Vaz to implement the following changes. 1. The first certificate of fitness for a new motor vehicle will be issued for 5 years. For used vehicles, 10 years or less, the validity period for certificates of fitness will be 3 years. For vehicles older than 10 years, the current yearly renewal schedule will remain. 2. Vehicle registration. Motorists currently have an option to renew motor vehicle registration for 6 months or for 1 year. We will be introducing a 2-year renewal option. Whether it is in reducing waiting times, improving service delivery, or streamlining regulatory and approval processes, we are taking a comprehensive approach to ensure that everyday experiences in Jamaica for our citizens is one of efficiency, fairness, and ease. If we are to secure Jamaica's long-term economic prosperity, we must broaden our economic base and create new engines of growth. The Port of Kingston is a critical element of Jamaica's vision to become a global logistics hub, leveraging our strategic location at the intersection of the north-south and east-west shipping lanes. Since July 2016, we have entered into a 30-year concession agreement for the expansion and modernization of the Kingston Container Terminal. Over US $400 million has been invested in capital improvements, equipment, and advanced geopositioning technology to bring the terminal to world-class levels. An additional $50 million will be invested in 2025 in two more cranes and other equipment. The Port Authority of Jamaica is working with the Kingston Freeport Terminal Limited to expand cargo storage and construct an additional 15 hectares of space on the Westlands at a cost of US $80 million with potential for further expansion. And this area shown in yellow on the map is the Westlands, where the $80 million will be spent to expand our port.
In today's Living Healthy report, more women are surviving pregnancy and childbirth than ever before. That's according to a new report from the World Health Organization. Maternal deaths have dropped by 40% over the last 2 decades, but there is growing concern from UN agencies that global aid cuts could reverse that progress, especially in low-resource countries where life-saving care is often out of reach. We learn more in this WHO's Science in 5.
We all know someone who's expecting a baby, right? Our maternal health expert, Dr. Femi Oladapo, is our expert on the show today. Welcome, Dr. Femi. You've had years of experience in the field delivering babies. Talk to us about what a mother needs to know about how she can have a safe pregnancy and delivery.
Thank you, Vismita. The birth of a child is a major life event, potentially a time of hope, new beginning, and joy. But it can also be a time of fear and complications. For a woman to have a healthy pregnancy, for starters, access to routine medical checkups and good nutrition are essential to prevent complications during pregnancy.
What kind of tests are included in these antenatal checkups?
During these checkups, a woman should expect to have tests like urine tests, blood tests, ultrasound, glucose screening, blood pressure checks, as well as monitoring of her baby's growth.
And then in addition to these tests, what are the other things she should keep in mind during pregnancy?
There are some warning signs that might indicate that a complication is about to set in. Women should watch out for things like vaginal bleeding, severe headache, or swelling of the legs. And if any of this emerge, a woman should contact her healthcare provider.
Dr. Femi, let's talk about a major killer for women during childbirth, hemorrhage. Why are so many women still dying of hemorrhage in this day and age?
It's a reality that maternal death is still a major issue worldwide. In 2023, 260,000 women died as a result of complications of pregnancy or childbirth. Hemorrhage is the leading cause of maternal death, and it accounts for over 25% of maternal death that occurred in 2023. If you look at that number, that is roughly 700 maternal deaths in a day, about 1 in every 2 minutes. That's like a jumbo jet crashing every day. High blood pressure disorders, known as preeclampsia, is another major cause, but the real tragedy is that many of these deaths are preventable.
Time now for the business report with Denise Williams.
Welcome to today's business report. I'm Denise Williams, here to bring you the stories shaping the financial world and guiding your journey to smarter business decisions. Let's dive into the top headlines. The Statistical Institute of Jamaica has reported a total of 1.4 million people were employed during the January to March period, of which 763,000 were males, while 656,400 were females. Statin also reported that the unemployment rate was 3.7% during the first 3 months of the year. This represents 54,500 of the 1.47 million people who should have been working during the period. NCB Capital Markets CEO Angus Young announced that it has finalized the sale of Stratis Alternative Funds SCC to Barbados-based investment company Epley Limited. Stratis is a Barbados-based investment platform. With this transaction, Epley will assume full investment management responsibilities, positioning itself to deepen its focus on the value creation through the fund. Nicholas Scott, Vice Chairman of Epley, remarked, Epley has a long history of generating attractive, risk-adjusted returns by investing in private markets on behalf of its shareholders and investors. We are excited to assume full control of Stratis and committed to building on its strong track record. For the trading period ending April 17, 2025, these were the most actively traded stocks. Alternative energy provider Wigton Energy Limited with 6,772,579 units traded, representing 31.35% of market sales volume. Toll road operator Trans-Jamaican Highway Limited with 4,092,046 units traded, representing 18.94% of market sales volume. Advertising agency One Great Studio Company Limited with 1,765,573 units traded, representing 8.17% of market sales volume. We now shift our focus to the Forex market rate set by the Bank of Jamaica. On April 17, 2025, the Bank of Jamaica reported US $49.49 million purchased and US $48.47 million sold by Forex traders. Forex traders earned $1.42 per dollar, selling the US at $158.59 and buying the US at $157.17. The Canadian dollar netted Forex traders $1.93 per transaction, with selling at $115.26 and buying at $113.33. The British pound yielded Forex traders $1.81 in profits, with selling at $210.37 and buying at $208.56. For our credit report tip of the day, you're considered credit invisible if you have no credit history with the major credit bureaus. This typically happens when you've never had a credit card, loan, or reported a utility bill in your name. For many first-generation wealth builders, immigrants, young professionals, gig workers, and even cash-only households, this is more common than you think. So here are some suggestions to help you become credit visible. Make monthly payments throughout the month. This keeps your balance low when it's reported to the credit bureaus, not just when your statement closes. And here's the truth. You cannot build sustainable wealth if you're credit invisible. So without a credit footprint, lenders and service providers can't access your reliability, so they say no or charge you more. So here are 2 more actions for you to consider. Apply for a secure credit card. Deposit cash collateral and then build a payment history. Also, automate all payments. Never miss a due date on any bill. And that wraps up today's business report. I'm Denise Williams, reminding you that every financial decision is a step toward your future. Until next time, stay focused, stay informed, and keep striving for success. See you soon.
In regional news, the Caribbean is breathing a sigh of relief thanks to a major policy shift out of Washington. The United States has decided to shield cargo ships serving the Great Lakes, the Caribbean, and U.S. territories from steep port fees that were set to target China-built vessels. The move spares the region from what could have been a devastating spike in freight costs. Antigua and Barbuda's port manager, Darwin Telemaki, says the impact would have been catastrophic, but credits the strong advocacy of Prime Minister Gaston Brown and CARICOM Chair Mia Mottley for helping secure the exemption.
There was a strong effort here, and I want to stress that because the need to create the awareness that this was going to be destructive, catastrophic, that had to be elevated. And when we saw it, we needed help to do that, and PM Brown helped. Prime Minister Mia Mottley, who was the head of CARICOM, took the lead on it. I thought she played an extremely critical role. The CARICOM Secretariat played a significant role as well. All in all, when it was done, 3 things that we wanted, which was the exemption of the lines, the smaller lines that serve us, understanding the scale and impact that would have caused. We wanted to have a geographic range established, which was within 2,000 miles. We wanted a little over 2,000 miles. We got 2,000 miles from them. That idea came from President Ali from Guyana. And we were able to get the exemptions that we want. So 99% of what we requested, Dr. Patrick Anthony and I were looking at it, we got. We're grateful, and we would have said, Garfield, in your language, we dodged the bullet.
The Trinidad and Tobago Manufacturers Association wants Trinidad and Tobago to become the regional manufacturing powerhouse and is hoping to build a major Caribbean trade and convention center somewhere in central Trinidad. In this report, Sunil Lala tells us about the plans of the new TTMA president, who is ready to manufacture some excitement in the industry.
My third and strategic goal, and this is an important one to work with government, is to acquire a 20-acre parcel of land in a centralized area with highway access to construct a 200,000 square feet Caribbean Trade and Convention Center to host our TIC and other events that foster global trade.
That's one of the major plans announced by the newly minted president of the Trinidad and Tobago Manufacturers Association, Dale Parson. He believes such plans could elevate TNT's position as the regional manufacturing powerhouse, highlighting and cementing a new home for the association's highly successful Trade and Investment Convention, popularly referred to as TIC.
We have already, and I'm cutting short here, right? We have 3D images and everything prepared for how this will look. And this will be great for tourism and the business sector. It will position Trinidad as a manufacturing giant in the Caribbean.
Mr. Parson, who previously served as the vice president and chair of the TTMA's Infrastructure Committee, said these plans were initiated by him in the past years, but they never came to fruition.
I have a vision that Trinidad could have a convention center which can host international events to facilitate and make Trinidad the Caribbean trading powerhouse and export powerhouse of the region. The thing is that we have been occupying the Center of Excellence, which is roughly about 80,000 square feet, and we have outgrown the Center of Excellence.
He said the TTMA's marquee event, the TIC, has grown over the years, and he hopes to move into the next chapter with the assistance of the state.
We have over 300 exhibitors every year, and between 20 and 21,000 last year coming. So we have surpassed pre-COVID figures, and we are seeing more and more companies want to participate into TIC.
Mr. Parson is the current Chief Executive Officer at the Kaleidoscope Paints Limited Group.
Tributes and prayers continue to pour in around the globe and in Trinidad and Tobago following the death of Pope Francis, the leader of the Catholic Church.
Roman Catholic Archbishop Charles Jason Gordon said Pope Francis was a faithful disciple who kept the joy of the gospel alive in the hearts of the faithful, even as he called us all to a deeper love within the family, for our common home, for the poor and marginalized, and for one another across every boundary and division. Prime Minister Stuart Young said Pope Francis focused on uplifting the poor and vulnerable, and in the modern world was known for his desire for peace and the promotion of international diplomacy. The Prime Minister said the Pope was a known advocate for action on climate change and called for more protection for migrants and others who found themselves in vulnerable circumstances. Political leader of the United National Congress, Kamala Persad-Bissessar, said Pope Francis's life will forever serve to us all as a reminder of our obligation to build a culture locally and globally in which the strong protect the weak and justice, fairness, dignity, and progressiveness is God's ultimate gift for humanity. The Vatican on Monday announced the 88-year-old Pope died at Casa Santa Marta, where he lived. The Vatican later revealed the Pope suffered a stroke that put him into a coma and led to heart failure. The Vatican also said Pope Francis had relayed in a final statement his wishes to be buried at the Basilica of St. Mary Major in Rome. One day before his death, Pope Francis greeted thousands in his open-air Pope Mobile at St. Peter's Square after Easter Mass. The Pope, the first Latin American pontiff, was admitted to hospital on February 14th for a respiratory crisis that developed into double pneumonia. He spent 38 days in hospital. President of Trinidad and Tobago, Christine Kangaloo, has also joined the international community in mourning the passing of His Holiness Pope Francis. In a letter dated April 21st to the Dean of the College of Cardinals, President Kangaloo expressed deepest condolences to all within the Vatican and to the wider community on behalf of the government and people of Trinidad and Tobago. President Kangaloo said Pope Francis served with deep compassion, humility, and unwavering dedication to uplifting the marginalized and addressing the most pressing social challenges of our time. The president said Pope Francis brought a unique and empathetic voice to the Vatican, reshaping the global church's mission with a focus on mercy, inclusivity, and social justice, and noted his leadership inspired millions and opened new paths for dialogue among people of diverse beliefs.
In sports, Jamaica continued its dominance at the Carifta Games, securing another comprehensive victory at the Hazley Crawford Stadium in Port of Spain, Trinidad, on Monday. The country topped the medal table with an impressive 78 medals, marking their 39th consecutive win and 47th overall in the championships, which were established in 1972 by Barbadian Austin Sealy. The Jamaicans excelled across multiple events, including winning both girls' 4x400 meters relays and dominating the field events. Their haul included 30 gold, 27 silver, and 21 bronze medals, far outpacing second-place finishers, the Bahamas, who achieved 37 medals, just shy of their targeted 40. More on the Carifta Games. It was a great performance in the 4x100 meter relay events for Trinidad and Tobago, who won a total of 4 medals in their respective finals. A standout performance from anchor runner Dylan Woodruff, who saw TNT claim silver in the under-20 boys final.
The always highly anticipated relay events saw some electric performances in the 2025 Carifta Games, beginning in the girls under-17 4x100 meter final.
Adora Campbell for Jamaica. JD Emmanuel trying to keep...
After a brilliant anchor running performance by Michaela Grandison, the sprinter landed bronze for Team TNT.
Ezra Thomas for the Bahamas. It is Jamaica away from Bahamas and Trinidad and Tobago. 44-01 is...
Running in lane 3, the boys wouldn't be outdone in their U17 4x100 meter relay final.
They go. The back stretch. Jamaica back in the picture with a fabulous leg from the 100 champion. But they have work to do.
After the final handoff, there wasn't much to separate the top 5 runners as TNT's Alex Prasad forced his way to a third-place finish ahead of Barbados and Jamaica.
Prasad comes into bronze for Trinidad and Tobago.
On to the girls under-20 final, which saw a confident Team TNT head to the starting line. Running in lane 7, Sierra Joseph began the race in strong fashion for TNT.
Brilliantly for the Jamaicans. Look at her move away from the Bahamas and close in on Trinidad and Tobago.
After slightly falling back to the always dangerous Jamaicans, TNT's Sana Frederick would power her way through the final stretch, claiming a third straight relay bronze for Trinidad and Tobago.
The Bahamians coming through as well. Here they come to the final change. Shania Douglas has the baton, and she is well clear for the black, green, and gold. The Bahamians in second. Sanaya Frederick closing fourth for Trinidad and Tobago. Jamaica gold.
Jamaica won gold while the Bahamas claimed silver. The boys under 20 4x100 meter relay final saw a main event worthy performance by all runners.
Trinidad and Tobago. Kadeem Chinapo trying to stay close to Shaquane Gordon. Antonio Powell has the baton for Jamaica.
Following great runs by Trayvon Stewart, Kadeem and Akeem Chinapo, anchor runner Dylan Woodruff took off like a bullet and almost caught first place Jamaica, but came out runners-up, claiming silver, while Barbados won bronze to bring down the curtain on day 2 of the Carifta Games. Adrian Lazar, TTT Sport.
And that's the news on PBCJ. You can follow us on our social media platforms at PBC Jamaica. Thanks for watching.